Well, hello. Welcome back. As you can see, the lower is not beside me right now. So, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on the upper right now. The lower is not next to me, but the slide is in front of me. So, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on building up the upper. So, anyways, it's not like this thing is really dirty. I took it apart about a week ago. So, you know, I'm just getting off some of that, couple weeks sitting dust. So, okay. Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your firing pin spring, put that in, take your firing pin, pop that in. Next thing you're going to want to do, come over with your slide, or your safety, I should say. Okay. Now you're going to have to come at it with your punch. Push in your firing pin just a little bit. Just to get that safety started. Okay. Obviously it wants to be a pain in my ass at the moment. Okay. Now, once you get it to this point, I recommend you stopping. I highly recommend it. Take your pin and your spring, pop that right back in. Take either your pick or your smallest punch. Push it in. Just enough so that this way it's setting. Work it back into place. Okay. Now I'm just going to use a punch just to activate or just to press down a little bit. Okay. Now when you go to put it back in, it's going to be a little bit tight. So, nothing abnormal. But, up until you get the rest of the safety features in. So, next thing you're going to want to do is you can come on this side and you can take your other spring, pop that right in the hole. Take either your smallest punch again. Get your other piece of the slide set up. Now remember, this piece of the slide this trick will only work for this part of the slide or the ambidextrous safety. So, if your weapon does not have an ambidextrous safety, unfortunately, I haven't really read or looked at another weapon that did not have it. So, anyways. Nicotine. Next thing. You're going to take your two punches. Okay, first one. Now, you can always tell which one goes where. They only go in one way, in one position. Your plastic one is going to go in with the two notches right at the top over here. You'll see it more on your weapon versus on mine. But the lines are always cut towards the firing pin. So, like I said, it only goes in one way. Now, next thing you're going to want to do, take your plate, hold that on with one of your fingers, and come over Now, like I said, this is another like one of those three-handed operations. Unfortunately, you have to hold pressure down on the slide. Yeah, I do recommend keeping it in a flat position. Now, you don't really have to worry about your sights being out of whack because you're not really moving it. Next thing, after you put your sight on, take your Allen screw, pop that in. Beautiful. Now, I only have one pin. I think the other one fell out one day, so I gotta go and order a new one. You know, for parts, what I do recommend is going on to Numeric or Midway. Now, when you go to put in your sight, you're gonna have to apply pressure to both sides of the sight, slip it in. Press it in until it clicks. So, anyways, I'm lucky I'm not going to be carrying this thing for a little bit, so I can actually go online and order a few parts I do need, and so that this way when it comes time for this weapon to be carried, it's ready to go. You know, the reason why I chose to take it apart and do this, so, what do you know? I found it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this I'm going to take off the sight real quick, just so that this way I know point blank all I have to do is order one piece. Yeah, I think what ended up happening one day is the spring inside actually broke. So, yeah, it's not really anything major. You're just going to have to compensate a little bit. Next thing, what you're going to want to do, what I like to do is I like to apply a little bit of oil over here. I apply oil all over the barrel. Put in your barrel. Take your recoil spring. Set that in. Now you're going to notice when you set it in, you're going to want to have part of the flat, or part of your recoil guide rod, or recoil spring guide rod, connecting onto your barrel. So, I mean, you're going to want to have it sitting right here and right here at the same time. You know, I'll zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you can see how this is sitting right now after it focuses. Okay. This is what I was talking about. You're going to want to have your pin over here sitting right there, and you're going to want to have your guide rod sitting on the middle hump. Anything other than that, it will not function. Anyways, set that just like that, you'll be fine. Now, now that your slide is completely assembled, you know. Okay. Sorry, I was just checking to see what kind of time I'm looking at. Now that your slide is completely assembled, you know, there's nothing really more that you could do unless you want to put your lower together. You know, that lovely piece. Now, nonetheless, when I did take this apart for the very first time, you know, I wish I took pictures or I videotaped it, but I just didn't want to hear myself cursing. My trigger was completely black. I'm talking about there was no stainless left on it. Same thing for the hammer. And a few other pieces. You know, I think this thing was damn near pitch black as well. So, you know, every weapon is a little bit different. I know this was a police trade-in when I got it. So, you know as well as I do, some cops don't take care of their weapons. Unfortunately, I found one that was not taken care of. So, now, I might even take apart a magazine. I don't know. I mean, it's fairly easy to take it apart anyways. You got a little hole on the bottom of the magazine. You press out. You'll notice that it is connected a little bit. That slips right down. You know, it's fairly straightforward. So, it's fairly easy as well. You know, now all you really gotta do is just pop it back together, remembering which way it went in. So, I'm gonna need this for the next video. So, I gotta put it back together. Oh, what do you know? I put the spring in the wrong way. You'll know when you do, because it's actually got to go round with round, flat with flat. That wasn't put in the wrong way. That's all I care about. You know, now it's back together. I bet you it'll function. So, anyways, let me get this next video up and going before I become too fucking lazy. Don't mind me. I'm just, yep. I just always make sure I have at least one round per caliber in front of me, so that this way, in case, this way I could just check to make sure it's gonna feed in. It's never a bad thing. Just make sure it's either a cap or a pop cap, or you know, if you are a hand loader, you can just make a dummy round. So, anyways, let me get to the next video, and we will talk in a little bit. So, I will see you guys in a minute.